In the world of toy manufacturing, a common practice most companies will use is taking a mold from a already exists and either changing its color, giving a new head, or changing molding itself. But I'm not here to discuss business practices of companies. If you want that, then go watch Teen Titans Go or something. What I'm really going to discuss today is toys which go crazy with the retooling. Toys that essentially change enough to match the designs they're intended to represent. This is Farlow21. Here's my personal list for the top 10 best Transformers toy retools that I own. Okay, so before the video starts, here's some ground rules. First off, simple redecos of new heads are banned from the list, as the toy needs a lot of changes in the molding to qualify. Mr. Farlow, are there any more rules? No, that's all. Well, on to the review! If you follow me on social media, there's a chance you might have already known this, but for those who didn't, earlier this year I was going to make a long form review about two generation style Quake figures earned from different eras, Titans Return and Legacy United. Ultimately, I felt like the project wasn't up to my standards, so I discarded it, but I might revisit it soon. Regardless of the fact, United Quake is a banger retool. He's changed a lot from Skullgrin, from the ability being more defined than Skullgrin's pan tank, to being taller to match the size of his contemporary Tiger Master remakes. He even has the frickin' upper leg treads molded into the legs. That's awesome. The only thing holding him back for me is his deco. For some reason, designers went for his lighter color scheme he never had, as opposed to his usual darker deco, which turned a lot of people off from getting him. But if you're watching this, I highly recommend this outing, even if you didn't like Skullgrin, because he's an absolute banger. So, the Siege Magnus mold. Some people adore it, and other people despise it like its abomination which came from the 9th circle of hell. Personally, I'm sort of on it, my first exposure to it being the Kingdom release, which I saw a while back because I already owned Delta Magnus and Shattered Glass Magnus. Don't ask why I brought it twice. But one particular retool of the mod was known as Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime, a retool which invokes the beloved Cybertron 2005 design, which I say was even more controversial toy than Siege Magnus alone. But before that build up out of the way, it eventually came time for Galaxy Upgrade Optimus to get a retool of its own, and so from the depths of hell, not in such a toy, and just make a joke about how evil the character is, arose Nerva Prime. When I first played with Nerva, something about him for me clicked while the other things didn't. For the record, I never owned Gope, so it was essentially a new experience for me. The fat ass back kip of the mod I was used to was reduced heavily, allowing Nerva to move more dynamic. New parts for him were awesome, and I still didn't like how the wings looked in the upgrade kits for him, and I might do the same, but for now they're sort of fine for me. And I've never really read much of Nerva's appearances in IDW, so I'm not really fully sure how accurate it is to them, but from his own he looks sick. He's got this sort of fallen angel vibe with the whites and the gunmetal greys on display. And the artwork is nice, I guess. I don't have much to say on it, I'm gonna be honest. Overall, Nerva Prime is a really fun experience for me, and is a welcome addition to my collection. Now, we just need a Zeta Prime. Personally, I like the design from Five Faces of Darkness the best, but IDW or TF1 would be cool as well. When Legacy Skids first got revealed, I looked at it and said these exact words: damn, this toy's gonna be retooled and redecoed a lot. And that did happen, but not exactly in the way I expected. I was expecting all the Diaclone recolors, reboost, and maybe green skids and Screech from that Million Publishing, which were direct homages to oh no. Side note, but in the Bearverse comics, skids are much better the way they are, because Flatline basically experiments and lobotomized them, meaning that the twins are essentially victims made to look and behave like racist characters thanks to Flatline, making them a racist. Just food for thought for anyone thinking about getting this upcoming Age of the Primes toy. However, my retooling and redecoing fantasy for Skids did happen, but not exactly the way I expected, because after Burnout, the next retool happened of Skids was Crankcase of the Triggercons. And after his redeco into Medics, I thought it couldn't get any crazier, but it did! Because the designers retooled Crankcase again to Cannibal and made new parts for that tooling based on the original toy. And to make this even more perfect, Bearverse Crankcase had a toy which is a redeco of Cannibal. Well, to be more accurate, Cybertron Red Alert, but for form seeking of Cannibal. What comes around, goes around. Now for the actual toy itself, it kicks ass, he looks good, and he has an interchangeable left hand which can be a hammer or a grabby thing, just like the original toy. He even has a cyber key, which doesn't do anything, sorry gimmick lovers, but the fact that included it all speaks to how passionate the design team are for their characters. So while the retooling didn't exactly go the way I wanted, still waiting on the official reboost, Screech and Gids, the prophecy was still fulfilled in a way. Now if we could get Cybertron Red Alert released, that would be... oh. Well, better luck next year! The comic edition got unveiled. Many people wanted two certain characters who were introduced in the pages of Marvel's Transformers to be made. And while they both happened, I'll get into number 2 in a bit, they were genuinely surprised in two different ways. For while the community debated on which model hypothetical Zara-1 would be made of, with Megatron being common one, his design was pulled from the illustrations of G1 Megatron based on his box art. But when it got unveiled, the model they chose was completely left field, because what madman looks at a reflector and determines, yeah, that will make a good Zara-1, and they are completely right. While still being the weakest out of the 2-pack, with Flame being a personal favourite of mine, Zara-1 is still a banger. First, the fact that the transformation is optional, like in the comics, is incredible attention to detail with keyboard that can be attached to make the art mode. Some call it parts forming, I call it more accuracy. And the comic book type shading on the sky is just top notch. I had much to say aside from the fact that it was awesome they got 6-0 to reveal this multi-pack, as he had Zaron's face as a proper picture for years. Also, the fact that it was a retool level mold that no one really expected to be made into Zaron will probably carry him in this ranking, but it's my list, my rules. Also, Studio Series comic book Macabre when? Picture this, you're really young and decide to browse the TFWiki for cool characters. You come on the sky called Straxus, and you think he looks cool. You scroll down only to find there's only available toy was super undersized for my tastes. Flash to 2022 and Legacy starting up. You see a listing for Leader Class Dark Mount, the same name as the 2010 toy, and if you believe it to say it got axed and replaced with Transmetal 2 Megatron. And no, I'm not complaining here, it's a banger figure, but yeah, a desire for Straxus never really do go away. Flash again to early 2024, I'm on a holiday. Straxus is in my top 20 wanted figures, but no listing indicates will be included in the product lineup for this year. I'm tuning to live stream and they're doing a Space Bridge project reveal where they show pictures of characters they're going to make into toys. Nothing you don't expect pops up because I'm caught up with leaks, but all of a sudden, Straxus pops up. You're shocked because you generally didn't see his coming, but at the same time, you more than welcome it. And to make this even better, his retool of a toy I already liked, Kim and Galvatron. He was already in a banger of a toy, but Straxus elevates him to a whole new level. He's retooled enough from Galvatron to stand out, with a new chest and shreds. All the comic book shading on Zaron is present, the colors are true to the character, the head is flat but at the same time isn't top buck on 2016 Tigertron levels, and someone makes it awesome. When the grab is his pickaxe can extend like Transformers animated Optimus' axe, meaning he can't use both hands for his swing, but at the same time like 2 blown away of everything else. Overall, Straxus is a banger retool for banger mode, I couldn't recommend him more. Legacy Beachcomber was a good toy, and upon the listings for Ruckus releasing, many people came to the conclusion that Ruckus would be retooled from him. Some people thought he'd be too small to match up with the other 2 Triocons, while other people were expecting him to be a shell-shot retool, and that's why it was taking longer to reveal the other 2 multi-packs. I was personally wanting an evil bird to come with him, much like Beachcomber's parakeet. Regardless of the matter, when Ruckus got revealed, to everyone's surprise, they went so hard with the retooling, it was bigger than Beachcomber, and a whole new chest and arms, you could even do the Truecon gimmick the best out of the 3 Truecon remakes. Looking at you, Crankus and Windsweeper. But Ruckus is an absolute banger, so much that me and a friend coined the term Ruckus level retool for any retool of an existing figure which goes unnecessarily hard, and Ruckus certainly deserves that title. And how would the best retools video be complete without the king himself, Super Megatron? In 2020, Takara's toy designers basically looked at 2017 Cybertron Megatron and said, we can do better. And they sure did! Super Megatron blows his Hasbro counterpart out of the water, or at least I heard, I don't know times return Galvatron. Super Megatron has it all, a new fusion cannon, a new chest, the head mask can being nixed for head replacement option to work in the last night Megatron design, new shoulders, sick ass jet kill on the back, and to top it all off, no Super Megatron toys ever existed in the first place, so it was one hell of a first impression. Some ways leave a lot to be desired though, but hey, nothing perfect. Overall, Super Megatron basically redeemed the Time's Return Galvatron mod and went beyond. Also signed up, I basically brought my copy in preparation for Age of the Prime Star Convoy, where I thought this thing would be a multi-pack which came with Brandis the Sky Gary, only for it to be a really big Optimus Prime fit, which kind of fucks with the scale, but I don't really give a shit. Super Megatron is that much of a banger. Long-time follower-wise might know this, but for those who don't, I used to really be into the Siege Sideswipe mod. I owned every variant, even ran a Twitter gaming account dedicated to Deep Cover as my favorite mod due to its sick colors. But everything changed when the Shy Glass collection dropped the Rodimus and Sideswipe 2-pack. But we knew Rodimus was coming, Sideswipe was a clear show stealer here, with retooling done to match his original bottom contour, which in itself was a retake of Armada Wheeljack, which is almost G1 Sideswipe design, bringing things full circle. And he even came with a Minicon! Whilst I own both, the spot won't go to Siege Shy Glass Sideswipe due to his colour scheme being better, such a beautiful mix of turquoise and grey. Paired with the Battlescar chest, band weapons and new head sculpt make this toy a really fun endeavour. Paired with Whisper and the Minicon, essentially the show steals the boxer I said before. Nobody is crazy about Lambro collecting anymore, as a solid sheet, Sideswipe, Red Alert, and the Netflix counterparts, but this mod will always have a special place in my heart. When SS86 Blood came out, he was hated on release, from his eternal look-smacking, mogging face to his arm kibble. Whilst I'm never one of those haters, I will admit the toy does have some issues, so when DevCon released, it was a sleeper hit. It was, however, distributed awfully, so no one in Burgerland could even experience him properly. And to add insult to injury, Hasbro Australia were doing this thing where they randomly excluded certain toys from releasing in the country properly. This practice started Evolution and continued to the start of United, but after that everything's being included like normal, so it was a really weird period of Australian collecting. I often put one for my buddy in Singapore. Shout out to you, Kenny. No, not that evil one. But with that out of the way, it sucks that no one acknowledges how much of a banger DevCon is, because as I said before, he was a sleeper hit. No one chooses arm kibble, retooled enough to look like it did in the G1 cartoon, and yeah, Zot mode looks like I'm basically laying down, the transformation feels good enough to do it on repeat, so fuck you. Evolution Defcon is like the Super Megatron Pathetic Explode mod, and I'm so happy it got reissued so more people could experience its glory properly. But before we hit number 1, here's a few honorary mentions that I could briefly discuss who couldn't make it into the video. I forever stand by the fact that Earthrise Cliffjumper is a good toy, but the retooling development into actual life and falsifying data was a really cool thing they did. And Goldberg just makes the mold shine. I thought it was really cool that the designers back then basically made all 3 of the 1987 Decepticon Tiger Masters remakes in Transformers share leg. They all have different torsos and transformation sequences that stand out. Trick Happy's personally my favorite, but Misfire's a close second, and Slugging Sling's my third. They were pretty good overall, just yeah. Back when I first got Siege Hound, I didn't really like him that much. The backpack was annoying to me. When Detritus came around, the issues pretty much resolved for me. He's also really cool, and Iron Fist is also a good sub-retool as well, so I just want to bring them up there. When Metal Hulk first got revealed, I was initially disappointed that he was a Cyclones retool, but when I got him, my opinion changed. They retooled him a lot to fit the character design from Master Force work, and paired with the sword, it really made the concept work for me in my mind. And my opinion with the Siege Hound mod is the same with the Siege Mirage mod. Like, the Earth one's way better. Like, I don't know what to say, it's pretty much the exact same thing as my thoughts into Tetris, but yeah, just want to throw that out there. But the number 1 best retools in recent years, in my opinion, goes to... Those Madmen did it. Their Magic Zone Tangentron Mind Wipe, a toy Mr. Aeron, turned into one of my favorite releases of that year. I remember seeing a lot of discussion on Squeeze Play, with people debating on how it can be made from Tangent Return toys, so seeing the end result is sick as hell. Like the last Headmaster Jr. remake, the design team basically improved Mind Wipe in every way, even giving Squeeze Play ankle pivots. Just a lot of cool cancer references in this toy, with Mind Wipe basically resembling Grounding and his head more resembling the Master Force character than actual Squeeze Play. Unfortunately, not much else to say, but overall, I think Squeeze Play is my favorite retool of all. But to my dear viewers, what did you think? Who's your favorite retool? Is United Slip through Abomination and deserves to burn for all of eternity? Leave a comment below. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. You can hit notifications if you want to, and as always, have a good day.